Well, let's take a quick dive into understanding the energy levels of leaders. In other words, there are certain things as a leader that tend to energize us, and then there are things that tend to do the opposite, where they zap us, they take the energy from us. The tool I'm going to walk you through is a helpful tool when it comes to just self reflecting on our own personal leadership journey and beginning to continue to understand ourselves a little bit better, knowing where our strengths or our weaknesses are, helping identify the things that honestly energize us and don't energize us. At the same time, this is a fantastic tool to be able to use with any of your leadership team, staffing, or when you're looking at raising up team members, placing more authority on them, raising up and hiring different staff members. I would encourage you to take a few minutes and just walk through this chart and begin to understand, are they really the fit to what we're looking for as we kind of move forward. Now, there are kind of four quadrants that we're going to take a look at when it comes to energy. I'm going to encourage you, grab a piece of paper, jot this down, write it down, draw it out as I kind of walk through this. But the four quadrants of energy that we're going to talk about are goals, systems, and ideas and problems. In other words, as a leader, each and every leader will have to face and wrestle through all four of these things as a part of the leadership journey. You're going to have to set goals. You're going to have to work together to build systems to achieve those goals. Those goals oftentimes in the systems flow from the different ideas that we may come up with. But along the road, we're going to run into problems. And so some of these things will tend to energize us. Some of these things tend to zap the energy away from us as well. Now we can begin to kind of think about it in these four different quadrants. So we have goals, ideas, problems, and systems. So let's talk about how these then come together. And really there's kind of four different ways in which we can begin to group these. And let's start with group number one. There are people that exist that they're idea driven. They're always coming up with new ideas. I know I drive my wife crazy with the amount of ideas that I constantly come up with. We can be driving down the road and I'll look over and I'll see this building and go, oh, that would make a great coffee shop, or that would make a great bagel shop, or, and just kind of fill in the blanks. But I also am a very goal-driven type of person. So not only do I have the ideas and the creative, innovative side of who I am, but I love being able to establish goals to actually make those ideas become a reality. Those people are visionaries. They're very idea driven and they're goal driven. They're the visionary leader that tend to cast the vision, create the vision in any organization, let alone a church. So that's what we're talking about when we want to identify visionary leaders. Now, the implementer leader are those that are systems and goals oriented. Similar to the visionary, they like goals. They want to know what they have to go after. But the implementer are really, really good at creating the systems in order to actually achieve those goals. It's not that the visionary might not be able to create systems to do that, but that's not their sweet spot. That's not what they thrive in doing. The implementer really, they may not be the most innovative. They may come up with ideas, but their tendency is to repackage previous ideas that they've come across over the years. But they really enjoy creating the systems to actually achieve those goals. So that's the implementer. So we've taken a quick moment, explored the visionary and the implementer. Next, let's take a look at the manager. The manager are systems and problems people. In other words, they have no problem working the same system, dealing with the same problem over a long extended period of time. I don't want to be bombarded with new ideas. I don't want to have to sit and think innovatively. Somebody else dictate me what the goal is. I just want to work the system. I want to solve the problem. Those are the managers. And lastly, we have what I would call the counselor or consultant. These are people that are problem oriented in solving, but they have ideas on how the problems should be solved. They may not come up with a system. They probably don't want to work the system, let alone the goals. But it's kind of like, hey, tell me what your problem is. Okay, let me give you an idea. Now, what distinguishes the counselor versus consultant? The counselor tends to be more people driven. The consultant is more task driven. And so when it comes to the problems and ideas of how this plays out, you're going to have people that are a little bit more on the relational side. They're going to tend to be in that counseling sector. And then you have those that are in the consultant. They tend to be a little more task oriented. Now, it's very important to kind of think about how this breaks down. So let me kind of walk you through a little bit of the breakdown to help identify energy levels and how you think maybe as a person. So the visionary, these are the goals idea people. They tend to be 90-day people, meaning they can operate with new ideas coming to ground, but about every 90 days, every 3 months, they need to come up with a new idea. They need a new vision. They need a new creative, innovative thing to kind of focus in on. And so you might find yourself working with a visionary, or you might find that, man, I think I am a visionary, but for some reason I always get really excited and get people going, and then all of a sudden we lose momentum. The challenge is you may be every 90 days repackaging a new idea and say, you know what? I know we talked about that last month, but now I feel like this is what God is calling us to do. And it just wears people out. And so it's important to understand that about visionary leaders. Now, implementers are what I would classify are kind of 2-year people. Hey, give me the goals. I'll work the system. But after 2 years, they're beginning to wear out. They need new goals. They need new ideas to go and pursue, but they're really good at working the system, creating the system over a 2-year period of time. Now, visionaries and implementers are great. They're high-paced type of people, and they work really, really well as teammates. And so if you're a visionary leader as the lead in your church, let me highly encourage you. You need to find that implementer and run with that implementer. You will be able to break through barriers, gain more momentum than you could ever actually accomplish on your own. If your natural tendency is to be an implementer, work the systems, solve goals, you're going to lack some of the innovative visionary components that would help move the organization, help move the church forward. And so you want to find people that are those visionaries that you can partner up with and continue to move forward. Now, just as the visionary and implementer are so critical in the life of any organization and specifically churches, also managers are. You need people that will just do the same thing over and over and over year after year. That's why I kind of classify it this way. Think of the manager as a 30-year person. This is kind of your accountant mentality. Hey, I've got my sweet spot. I know what the problem is, and I have the system solve that problem. Let me just go to my cubicle and just continue to knock it out day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And they're more than happy, very content to continue that process for 30 years. Now, your counselor, consultant, they're 5 minutes. It's, hey, tell me what your problem is. Here's your idea. Now let me go on to the next person and help them in the same way. Where are you on the leadership quadrant? What are your natural tendencies? What seems to bring you energy? What are the things that zap your energy? I know for me, managing, if all I had to do was solve problems and work systems solving the same problem over and over and over, it would be exhausting for me. But I need those people on my team. And I need people even as the counselor and consultants that are able to bring up new ideas and help us solve existing problems. Hopefully this is a great tool to help you flesh out where you're at, but at the same time, how to effectively build your team.